evening, Toastmasters, guests, Toastmaster. I've been tasked with researching and presenting on a topic of interest because it is an ever-intriguing space of seemingly endless learning potential, and because it pertains to my role, I've done a little research on the topic of leadership. There was a CEO and CFO in conversation. The CFO said to the CEO, "What happens if we invest in developing our people and then they leave us?" The CEO replied, "What happens if we don't and they stay?" Leadership is about people. Leaders lead people. Without people, there wouldn't be anyone to lead. So we could say that being a good leader is really about knowing how to deal well with people. A manager and his staff member were in a one-on-one meeting. The manager's phone rang. Following 3 rings, the staff member said to her manager, "Aren't you going to get that?" He paused and then replied, "No, I'm not sure whether or not that phone call is important, but it can wait. I do know that this meeting is important." By paying attention to the way his actions impacted his staff member, this manager was able to build trust and rapport. But leadership isn't just for managers, it's for everyone. Everyday circumstances often call on people to step up and become leaders. Therefore, it would pay for us all to take a closer look at just what leadership is. According to one scholar, there are over 35,000 definitions of leadership in the academic literature. Alexandra Glucksman, the former senior vice president of research and operations at Cerulean Pharma, and now you can see she's gone on to bigger and better things, says of leadership, it is the ability to bring people together in the right way to get things done. Let's take a look at another definition. Lao Tzu, the leader of the religion Taoism, said of leadership, "A leader is best when people barely know he exists. Not so good when others obey and acclaim him. Worst when people despise him. Fail to honor people, they fail to honor you. But of a good leader who talks little. When his work is done, his aims fulfilled, they will all say, 'We did this ourselves.'" We've looked at a few definitions of leadership. Now let's move on to some of the key theories that feature in the literature. So today we're going to look at 3 theories due to time constraints. These theories are the great man theory, the leadership grid, and transformational leadership. The first theory is the great man theory. Thomas Carlyle was a mathematician, a philosopher, a historian, essayist, translator, teacher, and satirical writer. In his 1841 book on heroes, hero worship, and the heroic in history, he posited that the history of the world is but the biography of great men. There was this theory that in times of crisis or times of need, a great man would arise, almost as if by magic. You see, 19th century literature was based on individuals who were already in positions of leadership, and these people tended to come from the upper classes. The people from the lower classes seldom had opportunity to lead. So this encouraged the idea that leadership had something to do with breeding. Clearly, those people were desensitized to the bias in their thinking. Fast forward to 2008, when Daft and Lane published the Leadership Grid. Our thinking of leadership was wildly different. This was an expansion of a 1960s study from academics Blake and Mouton at the University of Texas. So let's take a look. They published this work that talked about a grid which attempted to describe a balance between focus on people and focus on tasks. Here, you will see the leadership grid. And the theory described 5 kinds of leadership. So the first kind of leadership was impoverished management or leadership. An impoverished leader actually didn't really care about people or the work that needed to be done. The next kind of leader was the country club leader. The country club leader cares a lot for his people, but doesn't actually care about the things that need to get done. Next, we have the middle-of-the-road leader. The middle-of-the-road leader has medium-level balance concerns, but again, they're medium-level concerns. They're not that concerned. The next type of leader is the authority-compliant leader. This leader just wants things to get done. He doesn't care about the people that have to do the work. And finally, there's the kind of leader called the team leader, who has balanced high-level concerns for people and results. But one of the most popular leadership theories was actually published 10 years before, that of transformational leadership. Transformational leaders inspire and motivate people to achieve. So transformational leaders work with teams, and they work to promote high performance while at the same time ensuring that each individual is able to achieve their best. So we've looked at 3 prominent leadership theories. But leadership is a vast topic. There are some leaders we may look up to, the likes of Churchill or Ardern, and there is a dark side to leadership. Think of Hitler or Castro. Some people think leaders are so wonderful they magic up out of thin air when the time is right. And other people think that there are as many different types of leaders as there are people. Finally, there is talk of a kind of leadership that is uplifting, impassioned, and inspires people to unite around something greater than themselves. In summary, no one really has the monopoly on just what leadership is, but if you are helping people to achieve their best and you're encouraging them to realize great results, then as a leader, you must be getting something right. Toastmasters.